Okay, happy Monday in Japan. This is a video for the Moondrop Kadenz. It is a single dynamic driver. If you're a subscriber, go ahead and comment below. I did an unbox. If you're subscribed to that channel and this, I'm going to pull somebody who's a subscriber in the comment section. Give the video a thumbs up if you generally like it and ship it off to anybody in the world. I pay for shipping. This is going to be a part one of two videos. I am unable to connect. I used the QR code that is included, and I used an Android, and this is the Asus ROG, and I was unable to get it connected. The dusk from Critical was very easy to do, and I updated as this QR code had me do, but I'm still unable to get the Kadenz onto the DSP. So there are three types of tuning. This is A-Tech Reviews graph. I'm just going to go with this. Jay's Audio did the same thing and pointed out that the nozzles aren't really doing anything different, so I'm going to be reviewing this right here, and when I'm able to work out the USB-C, because I'm a big fan, as everybody knows, I essentially only reviewed the Critical Dusk in DSP version because I was such a fan of it. This offers some stuff like that. Just taking a quick glance, it says Bass Plus, Bass Plus Plus, Soundstage Plus, Treble Plus, so there are some presets in there that I'll be interested in, but I'm unable to speak to it right now. So let's go ahead and talk about this set. Again, it's $189. If you are into USB-C, this is something I'll say right now that I would recommend that you check it out. If you're not into USB-C and you just want to go with regular tuning, this would be something that is very similar to the Kato and other sets that they've released that are cousins of this set. Everybody knows that this is kind of like a Kato or a Kato, and there's a few other sets. If you've already got those sets, I don't know that you really ought to buy it. But if you're into DSP and you use that kind of, they make it easier because you can take the cable that is in 4.4 and just plug it into an adapter instead of switching your cable to a strictly DSP cable, USB-C. So it's functionally easier than before. So that's not a problem, but there's some people that just don't use that. So this video is, I'll be clear, if you use USB-C, keep your eyes out. The presets look very interesting. If you are not a user of USB-C, this is something that my take is going to be different, but I'll update that because of the difference in my inability to connect this set. Let's go ahead and talk about the bass, the the bass drops, Big Boy Kill Jill, 808 drops, stuff that happens in Tupac tracks, Ghetto Boys, Kendrick Lamar, Wu-Tang. Most of the classics that you've heard are using an 808 Roland or a derivative of that, usually an 808 Roland. Deck mix drops. This has the energy to convey the drops, but it definitely doesn't sound like a set that I would recommend for bass dominant type genres. If you take a look at the frequency response graph, you can see that nozzle A, B, and C are essentially identical across the board. I'm really not sure what's going on with that, because if you're going to take the time to switch the nozzle off the body, there should be some point to that. I can't really see what this is. If you understand this, comment below. I really don't research before I do videos because I feel like it subconsciously influences me in a good or bad way. So I really have no idea why these don't reflect different tunings if I'm physically changing nozzles. And again, you're not looking at the USB-C or the DSP settings because I'm unable to do that at this time. I should probably. Let me go ahead and, okay, you can see it's plugged in right now, and I'm unable to, and this is the latest version, Jew, Dawn 4, 3, Moon River 2, Dawn Pro, Free DSP May, Dusk, Chew. I'm not able to get this to show up. Let me pull it out and then reinsert it. And then I'll select USB Player Pro for just once, and then I'll swipe that out and go back into Moondrop Link, which is the latest version. It's not an option that I have inside here, and when I try to add it, I'm presented with BT device or USB device, as this is USB-C. and I don't have it in there. So this is kind of I thought it was a me problem, but it's an app problem. So I'm not sure how some other people were able to grasp that. This isn't something that's really built for hip hop and R&B and stuff that has a pronounced rhythm section, or that's what you like or you expect in the replay, like somebody like myself. So this is polite. This is something more as far as the reviewers and personal taste go. I think Super Reviews Mark is somebody that has tastes that are like this, as are a lot of other reviewers, but Mark's the first one that comes to mind. So that the 4 and 5 string bass guitar is a little bit different, even though it's a rhythm section instrument. It is not as impacted by like a flat tuning. It's more of a sub bass extreme boost with a mid bass cut can really make that instrument sound odd, but flat really not. It's presenting all 4 or 5 strings essentially evenly, and then it's up to the harmonics of the instrument as we get past 1 kilohertz and how that might make it sound odd, not because of the bass presentation, but because of the upper mids or treble. The bass guitar on this sounds fine. There's really no problem. It's not emphasized, it's not pronounced, but it does sound fine as an instrument. It doesn't sound weird at all. The bottom kick drum, which is produced and emphasized low frequency event, is sounds simply like a kick drum. It sounds fine. It's really not a hip hop thing, but when it comes to the bass guitar and the kick drum, it's simply it's like a non-EQ'd set that you EQ. It's there. It sounds fine. It sounds accurate, but not boosted in the way that you're expecting to hear it. So in that sense, I suppose it's inaccurate, but that's really a subjective take. It's just simply not enough for me and my library. I would probably really need that DSP, and I'd be happy to use it as I was with the Dusk. I'm just not able to do that at this time. As we get into vocals, Chris Cornell, Lane Staley, Nina doing female vocals. We don't have any mid-bass encroaching into the mids because the bass doesn't really bleed into the mids because there's not much of a difference between the two. There's probably a 3 to 4 dB rise at 55 hertz compared to 500 hertz. It's not really impacting vocals at all. Female vocals are a little more forward because of the, not a lack of note weight, there's just more emphasis there. The harmonics are more present and there, as opposed to a lot of some of my favorite tunings. But there's nothing wrong with the vocals. They're not shouty, they're not shrill, they don't sound unnatural. They just sound a bit emphasized and forward in the mix. As we get into overtones, which is a lot of the frequency response, as we get past 1 and 1.5K, a lot of instruments are really exhibiting just overtones and harmonics, which is the sonic events that occur after the fundamental moment, which is the pedal push, the key push on a piano, the pluck of a guitar or a bass guitar string, the stick striking the ride or the crash cymbal or any part of the drum kit. That event creates sound. That created sound that happens a split second after the initial fundamental moment is really essentially all harmonics and overtones. This is where a set can live or die because it's got too much energy for more than 10 or 15 minutes of listening. Along with comfort, this is probably the second biggest killer. I thought it was mid-bass, but it's really upper mid-treble tuning because of the way the harmonics are presented. When harmonics are boosted over the fundamentals too much, it sounds unnatural because over time, on a scale, left to right being time as time goes on, sound dissipates. There's the event, there's the harmonics, and then it quiets off. When you take the tail end of that area and you boost it up and it sounds different to the ear. It's a very subtle thing, but it sticks out. This set doesn't do that at all. Cymbal strikes, rides and crashes, the guitar electric or acoustic with or without distortion pedals. Yellow's album being cited in particular because there's just so much energy with keyboards and vocals are quite loud because just the way they produced it. It's a very much in your face type of thing. If you're sensitive or you like to really turn and power up stuff, that album will really get on you quickly. This doesn't have any problems with that. So it's not abrasive, it's not grainy like I described the area or the aria with that kind of spike, that type of tuning. It doesn't do that. Vocals in the mids are clean, so it doesn't have any issues with harmonics for this listener or really most of the fundamentals. It's just a little bit of the low end that seems to be, for my hip-hop library in particular, and really R&B, it's not something that I would go to, but it is equipped to do that. I just can't do that yet. So I'll go ahead and give it a ranking. In its 3.5 or 4.4 straight configuration, I would say that it is a set that I'm going to pass on ranking it because this is incomplete. My words speak for themselves. It's not the full package that I've got, but I'm going to put out this review because if I put out a DSP of the dusk and never address the 3.5, this seems to be fair. This is what I can get working right now, and this is what my opinion is of it. When I get the DSP to work, I'll revisit this in a short 1-minute video, literally a YouTube short, or I'll do another full review updated. Or when I do 1111, I can talk about this in its full scope. So be aware that this is a video that is talking about half of its ability. One thing to point out, when I did the unboxing, I said there are 3 different nozzle tunings plus DSP. The nozzle tunings are not any different. So you can help me below to understand that. Maybe there's something I'm not getting. Because it's the first time I've seen subtle differences, like only taking care of upper mids or the treble and not really doing much to the bass, but I haven't seen 3 nozzles that don't really do anything at all. Physical different nozzles that should have different filters inside. So you can speak to that. For the Moondrop hardcore fans, and potentially for people that like something like the Dusk, where you can do like bass plus type tunings, but again, I'll talk about that when we get to that point. That's it for now. You guys have a great couple days, and I will see you on Wednesday. Thank you to Shenzhen for sending this out. I'll be linking to Linsol below. Again, thank you guys for your time, and I'll see you on Wednesday.